Hello beautiful and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where I'm gonna do a get ready with me, but I'm gonna chat about the fact that I've been a full-time YouTuber for about a year now, so I just want to chat about it because you had some questions, and also like I want to share about it. Like I want to touch base on how it's been this year, what's been different, if it's been like expected, if it's been better, if it's been worse. A lot of you were asking about money. I'm not surprised, I'm a nosy bitch too, but we are just gonna do a full fake get ready with me, and I'm just gonna chat about this new job that I have. And if you haven't been here before, if this is your first video here, hello, my name is Angie. I'm such a lover of beauty makeup. I love everything beauty makeup related. That's why I'm doing my makeup while chatting about this. And if you want to see some more makeup in your timeline, if you want to see some more color in your timeline, we're definitely playing with color today. Definitely do subscribe because I upload 5 videos a week. I'm gonna be linking all the things that I'm using down below in case you're interested, so that you can have a peek at like the things that I'm using. So I'm not gonna be talking about makeup, I think, during this video, unless something very extraordinary happens. I did get quite a lot of questions, so I thought, why don't I just talk about it the way that I plan to talk about it, and at the end I will go through the questions, because I did ask this on Twitter. If you're interested in seeing other parts of me, other parts of my life, I do use Twitter and Instagram quite often, and I also have a vlog channel. So okay, let me start from the beginning. I've been doing YouTube for I think 6 years. I think it's 6 years. I think it's 6 years. Is it 7 years? I have no idea. But I started YouTube because I wanted to have more people to talk about makeup with. I live in Sweden, and I just were so interested in a lot of the brands that weren't available in store here in Sweden, and I didn't really have anyone to talk about makeup with. So I started a YouTube channel. I've always loved makeup, just to, you know, chat about makeup. Chat about stuff, meeting new friends, and it's been amazing. I've loved every part of the journey. It was never my plan to make this my job. It was never like something that I was like, oh, I wish one day this could be my full-time career, because I had other plans. I do have a science degree and I was working with that before. And I did talk about this in the video about like why I quit my job. My husband is in research, and he and I were supposed to be moving when he was gonna start a position continuing his research. And that position was in a place that's very different from where we are right now, which meant that I was not going to be able to do the job that I do right now in the position that we were moving to. And I'll touch base on this a bit more when I talk about us moving, because as you can see, we still didn't move. We were supposed to be moving summer 2020. It is autumn 2021, we still haven't moved. The job that I had to give notice 3 months before. And 2020 of course was a bit of a shit show for many reasons. So I gave notice, and then all hell broke loose and we weren't able to go anywhere. So it did get postponed until fall 2020, and then it just have been postponed. So I quit my job, not really to pursue YouTube full time, but because we were moving. We have still not moved, and it's been a bit of a ride. It's been a bit of a ride, but I will say, if there ever was a year to do a job from home full time, like this was definitely the year. I did my last day on the last of August last year, so I have been doing this now for more than a year. The first month I didn't really talk on YouTube about the fact that I was only doing YouTube full time, and I'll be honest, I needed to, like in Sweden you say you needed to land a bit. It's been so much. I was basically doing 2 full-time things, juggling that, commuting, my husband, our pets, friends, all of that. It had just been a bit of a circus for quite some time. And I'm gonna be honest, even though I loved it and I've loved every second of it, it was starting to be a little stressful. It was starting to be seen on my health. I wasn't able to sleep more than 5-6 hours a night, which is not that much. I felt like I didn't really have time to relax because I was just feeling like I wanted to do YouTube. I still wanted to do that. So when I quit my full-time job, I was like, why don't I just do YouTube until we move, and we'll just see how it is. And we were kind of winging it, and we're still winging it because, like you can see, I still didn't move anywhere. And I was very stressed, maybe more than I realized. It took me having to quit my job to realize maybe how stressed I was, because like I was having eczema, and all of that disappeared within that first month of just me being able to sleep a bit and not having 2 full-time things to do. And a lot of people were asking about like money and stuff, and I wasn't that worried about money because, first of all, I had a lot of money saved away. I had saved away like 1.5 years salary, and I had a pretty okay salary when I was working. Like the job I had before, I was working with food and health and like environmental questions, but on a very more local level. And I was having a pretty okay salary and was able to save away a lot of money. So I had 1.5 years in savings. So if shit hit the fan, which it did, but not maybe in that direction that I thought it was going to be, I had some money saved away. Like, because we thought that my husband was going to be able to start his job that fall, but that didn't happen. So the money that I was making from YouTube, like when I quit my job, it was okay. It was not the same kind of money as I was making from my other job, my regular job, but it was okay so that I would be able to pay rent and pay my telephone bills and stuff like that. And I wasn't like worried. I was like, this is gonna be fine. Some months were better, some months were worse. But one of the things that I promised myself when I was starting to do this full time is that I'm gonna post once more a week. Because I was posting 4 times a week before, and now I'm posting 5, because I was like, if this is my full-time job, if I can show up at my other full-time job 5 times a week, I can show up here 5 times a week. And also I promised myself that I was gonna put a little bit more effort into every video. All those things that I was like, oh, I don't have time to fill B-roll, oh, I don't have time to do comparison swatches, oh, all those things, I was gonna take the time for it, because now this is my job. So those are the 2 things that I changed with YouTube, and it did pay off. I did a little lip liner as well. I'm gonna use this long-lasting lip marker from Kiko. I want to do in reversed ombre. So, hold. And I'm just gonna go over with a little gloss. So when it comes to money, when I stopped my normal job and just did YouTube, I was making a little less on YouTube than I was on my job. If we just spread it over the entire year, and like just having paid vacation and like retirement money, you know, all these stuff that, I mean, some people call it benefits, but like in Sweden you do get those things. So I was like making a little less with YouTube than I was at my normal job. But since I was able to put out 1 more video a week, and I was able to make the videos a little bit better, and I was also able to time things a little bit better. Like I didn't have to film when I was tired, I didn't have to film during weekends, I didn't have to film late nights. I was able to get stuff up a bit better, and I was also able to like buy things to review, knowing that I would be able to film with them the second they got inside the door, which is something that I haven't really been able to do before, because like I was at work. I got home from work around 5-6 every day, so for me it was just a little bit of a different work schedule. I will say though, for some people have asked me like, how did your work schedule change? And I still work, I work less now than I did before, because obviously I only have 1 job now. Like it's so much better for my mental health, for my stress levels, for my eczema, my sleep, like all of that is just so much better now. So I do work less, but I do work 5 days a week. But the difference now is that I don't work weekends. And I mean, like, social media never sleeps. Like, you can get so many things done if you work more. And I can make more money if I work more. I really could. But I don't want to. Listen, I'm 37. I'm about to be 38. I want to enjoy life as well. I don't want to be working all the time. Like, making money for what? If I'm never off work, if I never have any flexibility in my schedule. Like, making money for what? For like just putting in a pile and investing in your future. Like, I want to be able to live now as well. So I'm trying to have a nice work balance so that I can actually enjoy. People are like, be more flexible, work for yourself. But some people just work 24/7, and I don't want to be that person. So I've gotten my weekends back. I try to not work weekends. If you see me uploading on weekends, it's because I have pre-filmed and pre-edited, and all I do is go in and put the video live. I don't film on weekends. I don't edit on weekends. I don't want to work weekends. I want to have weekends back, like, just to do stuff, visit my friends, go to the movies. Like, these are the things that I for some reason didn't take the time for before. It's just, it was stupid. So I'm happy to have that back. So for me, it's important to be like, yes, I could be working more, but for what? To make more money? If I don't have any time to spend my money, then I'll just end up buying 2 designer bags instead of 1. But like, I make enough money so that I can save for like 6 months and buy the bag that I want. I don't need to be able to buy it in 3 months. Like, it's fine. It's okay. I don't need to be, like I said, tati rich. I'm able to pay my bills. I'm able to save money, and I'm still able to treat myself. And that is enough. That is fine. That is enough. I don't know if I touched on this before, but I think it was like understated, but I didn't say that with this year on YouTube, I have been able to up my income. And right now I do make more money on YouTube than I did in my last job. I think that a lot of YouTubers are downplaying like how much money they're making on like AdSense and stuff. I don't do a lot of sponsored content. I kind of wish I did. Like, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't mind doing sponsored content for, the things that I use and like love myself. I don't do a lot of sponsored content though, and that's actually where the actual money is. But like I said, AdSense is paying me more money than my old job did. So I'm a little bit sad when like YouTubers downplay how much money AdSense is. They're like, it's pocket money. Yes, it's pocket money compared to what you would make in on sponsored videos, but that doesn't mean that it's pocket money. It's still quite a lot of money. So I am happy to be able to make enough to where I feel like I can sustain myself. Like, I can pay rent, pay my bills. I can still treat myself like I did before in my normal job, and I'm able to save money because, I mean, sometime in the future I would love to like buy a house with my husband or something like that. So yeah, I feel like money is one of those things you're not supposed to be able to talk about, but I am doing fine. And I also will say, like, I liked my old job. The reason I quit is because we were supposed to be moving, and we still are, and fingers crossed we will be able to move, but we were still supposed to be able to move, so that's why I quit. I could still see myself working with that in the future again. I'm actually going to be using this one. It's supposed to be highlighter, but I think it's going to be more of a blush on me. I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, my degree is still here. I totally see myself, I'm not going to be working with YouTube forever. Let's just put it like that. I'm not going to be working with YouTube forever, and I am okay with that. I feel like some people see this as the end goal. They're like, yes, I'm finally able to make enough money to quit my job and do YouTube. But I don't think that there is a lot of YouTubers where YouTube is the end goal. Like, you're going to need to be able to branch out to something if you want to stay in this business, because what are you going to be doing YouTube videos on until retirement? Unless you really blow up and make, like I said, Tati money, which would be amazing. Although I don't think that is like a good comparison, because I don't think that she's the one making the most money right now. But I'm just saying, unless you make enough money so that you can actually retire yourself when you're tired of social media, you have to have a plan B. Like, what are you gonna do afterwards? I've been toying with the idea to go back to school. I like school and I like the work I had before. I can totally see myself pursuing like working within that field again. I wouldn't mind that at all. But I'm also toying with the idea of just getting a degree in something totally different and maybe doing something else. Like, listen, we're not in the 50s anymore. We are allowed to change our mind and want to work with something else. That is totally like, you're allowed to do that. You can change your mind and want to work with something else. Like, you can do that. I know it sounds scary, but you're allowed. You can do that. Do I want highlighter, or do I just want to keep it like that? you know what? I think I'm gonna keep it like that. I like it. Let's keep it like that. I am gonna use this palette as well. But let me actually see. Oh, this is, I think that this is so pretty. This was on my wish list. I would have bought this one had I not been sent it in PR. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Cannot wait to dig into it. But let me get the creases out of my eye primer. And also let me look at my Twitter and see if you had any specific questions that I hadn't touched on. Someone was asking me if it impacts my benefits or if that's only in the US. Yes, that's only in the US. The benefits that you're talking about, that has nothing like really like free healthcare is still free healthcare, free education, like those things are still available even though I work for myself. The biggest difference is of course that now I have to save for my, like some pension of course is still because I'm still paying taxes, but part of the pensions that my work was putting aside for me, now since I am my work, I have to do that myself. Melanie was asking, is it what you thought it would be or is it easier or harder? And I thought that was a really interesting question because if you have been following me on my vlog channel, that's also something I did. I started a vlog channel because I love vlogs, so I was like one of the things that I've realized is that there are the longer I have been on YouTube, like the more subscribers I've gotten, the more this has like become a job for me, the more things, administrative things I have to do. The amount of mails that come in it's immense, and that's why when I had the opportunity to sign with the management, I actually did, and their main thing is that they are helping me talk to brands, which is something I'm not good at talking to brands. Like I said, I don't do much sponsorships, so they are actually handling my inbox, and they are the ones, oh, I have a cat hair, and they are the ones handling my inbox, and they are the ones talking to brands for me. And honestly, I love it. I also have an accountant because one of my biggest fears when it comes to like running my own business, being self-employed, is that I will mess up with taxes. That is one of my biggest fears. So for me, it was so important to have an accountant that would help me with that. And all of that, even though someone else is helping me with that, all the mails and paperwork and receipts and tax forms and just all of that, it's so much more than I ever imagined it'd be when I was starting out on YouTube. And I will say, I can only imagine the amount of work that's like behind the scenes YouTubers are doing that also have like a business, like another business, like if they're like, you know, the ones that have their own brand. I can only imagine how much of their time goes into the back, like the backside of things, that goes into stuff that's going on backstage, like things that we can't see. And it's honestly crazy. Is it harder than I thought it would be? No, I think it's exactly what I thought it would be, like that. The main difference for me is that now I'm doing only this, and I don't have to balance like doing this and my other job. Like, how much am I gonna be able to sleep on Saturday morning before I have to go up and film my new makeup releases? Like, a lot of things have actually become a lot easier because I'm able to get more than 5 hours sleep a night, which is delightful, by the way. And also, it's just so rewarding to be able to just be your own boss when it comes to like your time schedule. But it's also very frustrating, and some things are really hard because sometimes at your like your normal job you can have a bad day and you can be underperforming and you can be like, it is what it is, I'm still getting a paycheck. That's not how it is here. Like, if I'm not working, if I'm not doing and giving it like my best, or at least close to my best, like if I'm not working, I'm not getting paid. And I know some people will say, oh, it's so I'm so jealous of people having YouTube as a job because they can just take time off. They don't have to answer to anyone. It's like, yeah, I can take time off, but I'm not getting paid then. Like, so unless you're in a position where you can literally put up one video a month and like make rent, which is not at all, it is a bit stressful because there is not that much give when it comes to that. Let's say let's say I get really sick and I have to be hospitalized. In Sweden, I wouldn't have to pay for that whole thing, but it's like, who's gonna be working when I'm at the hospital? How am I gonna be making money? So that can be a little bit stressful, of course. And I realized that I have a different perspective as a Swede than someone from another country would have, because how work is and how healthcare is and how leave is and vacation and all that. Like, for instance, in Sweden you have 5 weeks of paid vacation, but I didn't have any vacation this year because as self-employed, you don't really get that. You don't really get that. So yeah, some things are of course a little bit harder. I do get those benefit of like vacation and stuff like that. That is of course gone, but I don't think that this is harder than I thought it would be, but it is most definitely taking up a full-time job. I was able to fill up my days with a lot of those things that I was just skipping before, or things that I was just doing a little half-assed before. I'm a little bit better at that now, just taking the time and making them at least so that I'm proud of them. But I mean, you can always be better, of course, but right now I feel like at this point I'm at my max, like how much time I want to spend on social media versus how much time I want to spend doing other things, because like I started playing World of Warcraft again. There was no way that I was gonna be able to have time to play World of Warcraft before, like when I was doing YouTube and having my normal 7 to 4 job. Like, there was no way that I would be able to have time for World of Warcraft as well, because I was fixing with YouTube on evenings. Like, I wouldn't have time for that. So some things are truly a lot better. They really are. And for that I am grateful. But yeah, like I said, I could probably do more to make like even more money, but like for what? For whom? Like, I'm happy where I'm at right now. Things can always be better, but the workload that I have right now, it's probably about 50 hours a week. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but I would say around there, like 50 hours a week, that's probably what I work, and I'm fine with that. It's okay if it's a little more, it's okay if it's a little less, but I don't want it to be 70. I don't want it to be 60. Like, I want to be able to breathe as well, and sleep, and play World of Warcraft. Okay, I'm gonna do some rapid fire questions, like things that I get asked a lot, or like things that are easy for me to answer. One of them is where me and Ricardo are moving, and I will do a separate video about this as soon as like as soon as everything is like settled, and as soon as I have something finalized to tell you, I will tell you. I don't want to talk about it yet though, because not everything is like set in stone about like exactly like how, when, and where. So I will get back to you on that one as soon as I know more. I got this question from Jackie Helville, and she was asking, how do you handle the instability of income? And for me, like I said, how I handled it is that I had a buffer, and I think that I haven't touched the buffer since I like started doing this. I haven't had a month where I had to dip into my savings. And how I would like handle it is that there are months that are less and there are months that are more, and it all depends on like different factors. Most of all for me, it depends on like AdSense. So how I would deal with it if I noticed that 1 month was less, I don't think that would really like change things for me. But if I had to dip into my savings, I would just get another job. I like, for me, I've worked my entire life. Like I've worked since I had a summer job when I was like, what, 13? I've always worked, and I haven't like I'm not afraid to work. So if YouTube is not an income for me, or if I have to do something else, or if I'm able to do something else, like that's what I'm gonna do. But I will be living out of savings probably a bit when we move, me and Ricardo, because things are gonna be a bit hectic. But I'm not worried, and I think the biggest reason is because I have a buffer. If I didn't have a buffer, I think, first of all, I'd feel like a lot less secure, but also I wouldn't have quit my job had I not had a buffer. Wanda Taylor asked, a year later, knowing what you know now, would you do it again? Okay, knowing what I know about YouTube, I mean, I was able to make this in income for me. I haven't had to, like I said, dip into my savings, but also we didn't move. I quit my job so that we could move, and we haven't moved. So would I have quit my job knowing, like, I quit my job to move and we haven't moved. So would I have quit my job knowing that it was not even done now, a year later? Probably not. Probably not, because that job is so much more secure. But again, I am making more money now. I don't know, like, had I known that we were not gonna move for a year, I would not have quit my job. Had I known we were not gonna move for a year, but I still would be able to make a good income with YouTube, and, like, you know, my stress level would go down, I would be able to sleep, my eczema would disappear. Yeah, probably. It depends, like, how much do I know? How much of the future am I aware of? So it depends on what I would have known. Because again, I didn't hate my job. Like, I didn't quit my job because I hated it. I like my job. I like my coworkers. Some people were asking me, like, do I miss having coworkers? A lot. And that is why it's been so sad that, I mean, this is a minor thing. Don't take this out of context, but the year that I was finally able to say yes to all of these events and trips and stuff that I've been invited to, that I always had to say no to because I had a normal, like, 7 to 4 job to attend to, I was like, I can finally say yes to those things. I can go on vacation whenever I want to. I can say yes to all the events. I can go to Stockholm and go to these press events. And COVID happened and it was all dead. So it was a big contrast between seeing coworkers every day and not seeing anyone. But I think that's not me. That's everyone. Everyone had that contrast. So, I mean, I was invited to an event next week and I said yes immediately. They didn't tell me a date, they didn't tell me a time, they didn't tell me anything about the event. They were like, there's an event next week. Yes, I'm coming. RSVP me, yes. Because I'm so happy to meet people. Like, I'm so happy to finally meet people. So, I mean, that has, of course, been a bad thing about this. But, I mean, hopefully now I will be able to, you know, see people again. You know, these little things. I don't really want to be talking about the makeup in this video, but I decided to bring out one of my Inglot pigments. This is number 112. Like I said, I will link everything down below. I will try and find this. But I hadn't really been using my Inglot pigments, and I was like, why don't I bring one out and use it with this palette? Because the palette is beautiful, but I need to use my Inglot pigments more because they're so pretty. And it deserved to be used a bit more. I almost put pigment primer all over my face. Not ideal. Like, look at this. So pretty. So pretty. Okay, I have 2 more questions that I think I will be answering before I finish up this video. And one of them was if I was wearing more or less makeup now, and if I was trying more or less makeup now. And I'm definitely wearing more makeup, trying more makeup, because I have more time. Like before, when I was working in an office, I never wore makeup to work, and it was not because I couldn't. Like, I could wear makeup to work if I wanted to. To be fair, I could probably show up like this to my office. It was a pretty relaxed work environment, if I'm gonna be honest. I had a really good boss. I still talk to her, and that wasn't the thing. But I went up at 5 in the morning, and at 5 in the morning I'm not sitting down to do my makeup because I want makeup to be fun. I'm not doing makeup to be presentable or pretty. I'm doing makeup because I like makeup, because I think it's fun. So I didn't do makeup more like normal mornings. And of course now I am wearing makeup more days out of the week, and I'm also wearing makeup like just because. I wasn't wearing that much makeup just because I was doing YouTube videos every weekend. So I ended up wearing the makeup that I did for YouTube. I ended up wearing that if we were doing something afterwards in the weekend, which wasn't that often. But if it was, it was very rare that I was doing my makeup and not filming it. Whilst today it is different. I do my makeup when I'm not filming it, and I feel like I'm able today to film a video doing my makeup, and I don't feel stressed about not filming anything afterwards. Like today, I'm not gonna film anything more today, but before I had to film at least one video when sitting down, and that is my biggest tip for you if you want to grow your YouTube channel, if you want to be consistent on YouTube. My biggest like tip for you is to film at least 2 videos every time you sit down to film, because you are gonna save so much time doing that. Trust me on this one. The next question was if anything has changed with like my creativity process, or like how I'm planning my days and how I'm planning my content. And I think the biggest difference has been that I'm able to plan more ahead. Like I'm able to think more for the future when it comes to content, because I'm not so squished for time right now as I was before. So like for instance, I have already planned out most of my Vlogmas. I haven't filmed it, but I have most of it planned out. And that is something that I didn't really have time for before. And that makes me a bit more happy. And also like the fact that I'm not too stressed about always filming more things every time I sit down to film. Like for me right now, like there's a day tomorrow. I can film tomorrow, which I will, because I enjoy filming. But I was a lot more stressed about getting more stuff filmed. And also with that, I feel like my content has gone better, become better over this year or the past couple of years, because it's not just uploading for the sake of uploading. Like if I don't have anything good to film, I'm not gonna film. That's how I feel now, and I like that approach a lot better. I do sit down every morning, start my day with a cup of coffee, and then I plan out my day. I still use a planner, like writing a planner, not a digital planner, and I like it. I like it a lot actually. I usually do to-do lists, and I try to not put too many things on my to-do list because it's easy to get overwhelmed, and I try to be like realistic, like how many things am I really gonna be able to do today. And I also put small things on my to-do list, things that are only gonna take 5 minutes, because it is nice to get those done, and it's also easy to forget those things. So I put small things on my to-do list as well. But yeah, even though I upload more for YouTube, and even though YouTube takes up way more time now than it did before, even though it took up quite some time before as well, I still like, I love doing this. I love doing this, and I also have some time on my hand right now. And here's the thing. Life is short. Life is short, and you have to enjoy the moment that you're in right now. And not only plan for the future and save for the future and like, what are you gonna do later? Like, enjoy now. And I enjoy where I'm at right now, fully knowing that I will not be working as a YouTuber forever, fully knowing that this isn't the end station. But I'm enjoying right now, but when it ends, and I'll be doing something else, and I'll be enjoying that as well. This is the finished look. I did put on the half lashes. Thank you, by the way, all of you who gave me the suggestion to try out the Vive half lashes. I had no idea they had those on the Vive website and not on Cult Beauty. So I did actually buy 3 of those. So if there were more people out there interested in half lashes, I did buy 3 of those, and I'm gonna be trying them out. I'm super excited. So, I mean, all in all, I am happy to be doing this full time. I'm living in the moment, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying makeup. I still get thrilled when I see a really fun makeup release. I'm not tired by like trying makeup or playing with makeup. I still love playing with color, I mean, obviously. So I'm not tired of it. And the day that I feel like I hate this job, or the day that I feel like, oh, I wish I could be working with something else, I would. And I hope I never end up in a situation where I have to keep doing this, even though, just for like financial reasons, even though I don't want to. I am, like I said, toying with the idea of going back to school. In Sweden, university is free, so I am able to go back and get further education or another degree if I want to. So I am toying with that idea. I mean, my husband is in academia. It makes sense maybe that I would go back. I haven't still made up my mind about that. I love makeup, the makeup industry though. I could definitely see myself in the future working with something else within the makeup industry without doing like YouTube. People ask me, am I like trying to get into lifestyle, or do I want to start my own brand? I have a vlog channel. I love doing my vlog channel, but I have no plans of making that my main thing. I still love makeup, and I have no plans of starting my own brand either. That seems like a lot of work, and let's be honest, there are way too many makeup brands out there right now. I do not need to be adding to that in any way, shape or form. I could see myself becoming even more of an entrepreneur, maybe having other things as well to to do because I love being busy, just not too busy, not 2019 Angie busy, but I don't want to start a makeup brand. I have absolutely zero interest in that, at least where I'm at right now. But yeah, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. I am not worried when it comes to money right now. I am not rich, but I do have some money saved away so that if shit hits the fan, if YouTube closes down tomorrow, what would you do? Like, I get that question a lot. If YouTube closes down tomorrow, I would enroll in university again. I would live out of my saved money, and I would like plan like what do I want to do next. I am not in a position where that would end things for me. I wouldn't be worried because I have a plan B, and I do think that it's important to have a plan B, but I also think that that might be something that comes with age. Like, I'm 37, like I said. This isn't my first rodeo when it comes to changing careers, so yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I want to be transparent with you, but I will tell you one thing. The more transparent you are, the more things you tell people, the harsher they will be with you. Which is weird. The YouTubers that like share the least things with their followers, the least things with the people watching them, they are the people that get the least amount of criticism because there's nothing to criticize. Like, they're not sharing anything. And I realized that with me sharing more of my life, I'm opening myself up for criticism. And that's just the way it is. That is the way the cookie crumbles. I will say I don't get a lot of negative comments on my channel. If you want to leave like negative comments, go right ahead. As long as it's about me. If it's negative comments about someone else, I do delete them because I feel like if you want to leave a negative comment about someone else, do that on their channel. Don't do that on my channel. It just leaves me in a weird position. Like, I don't want to be the middle hand of that kind of an argument. I hope that that makes sense. I don't want to be like oversharing, but at the same time, I don't want to be like hush hush. I will do a separate video when all the things with the moving is finished. I don't know, that could be tomorrow, it could be in 6 months. No one knows at this point. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do have any more questions, my comments are always open. I always try to say, like, encourage you to be respectful, but if you want to be mean, that's perfectly fine as well. I don't delete comments about me. Unless you're, like, doxing me or, like, telling me to kill myself. Both of those have happened on my channel, so we're trying to avoid that. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you will have an amazing continued week, and I will see you tomorrow in a new video. Bye!